So let's get started. We are on page 31 in your grammar book. So go ahead and go to page 31. In grammar. Just want to check in case she's trying to text me. Let's see here. No, okay. We're talking about adjectives today. You guys already know about those, so this would be kind of a review for you. Should be pretty easy. An adjective describes a noun or a pronoun. And it says here, an adjective tells which one, what kind, how many, or whose. Those are the questions that an adjective answers. So if you can memorize that, see how it's in bold here. If you can memorize that, that will help you remember what adjectives are. They tell which one, what kind, how many, or whose. An article adjective, those are a, an, and the. Usually we just call those articles, a, an, and the. It's a special type of adjective that signals that a noun is coming. You can test it if a word is an adjective by putting the word between the article and a noun. So over here, you see this little test on the side. It says the blank pen. You can try different words there to see if it's an adjective. It doesn't work for every adjective though, but if I say the black pen or the large pen or the fuzzy pen, those are all words that describe the pen. But if I have like the word bed, the bed pen, that doesn't really make sense, right? So bed is a noun. That's why it doesn't make sense. So if you try to plug in a word here that's an adjective and it kind of makes sense, then that's probably an adjective. The scared mice ran. The adjective usually comes before the noun. So the noun here is mice. So what we're talking about is an animal. Right before it says scared. So it's saying that it's describing the mouse. Like which mouse? Which mice is it? The scared mice. Look at this sentence. The mouse ran to his nest. Nest and mouse, those are both nouns. But this time, the word nest has an adjective right here, his nest. So if you ask the question, whose nest? It's his nest. So that's an adjective. The way you're going to find them in here is look for the noun first in the sentence and then ask yourself these questions. Which one, what kind, how many, or whose? So look at this example down here. Plus, you're going to write ADJ on top of the word. Okay, you guys remember that from last year. Two scared mice jumped from the first basket and ran under the cook's nose. Ooh. Their hearts raced with fear. Okay, so we have two words here describing the mice. We have how many and what kind of mice. They're scared mice. So two scared, those are both adjectives. Here we have which basket is it? It's the first basket. And whose nose is it? It's the cook's nose. And then whose hearts? Their hearts. So those are the type of questions that you ask to find those adjectives. Now, there's a paragraph down here that talks about at the back of this book, there's a place for you to make a list of quality adjectives because eventually you're going to have that as a dress-up word in your writing. And you can make a list in the back of this book. There's a page back there if you want to keep track of some good quality adjectives and you like them, go ahead and make a list so you can go back to that list later if you want to use those words later in your writing. Any questions about this page that we just looked at? You guys have any questions? Remember, shake your head no if you don't have any questions. Okay. Look at the next page, page 32. Oh, here comes Lacey again. We'll let her in. Homophones. Okay, that prefix homo means same, and then phone means sound. So homophone means same sound, okay? A homophone is a word that sounds like another word, but is spelled differently and has a different meaning. Here are the homophones we're going to look at today. Two, two, and two. They all sound the same. It sounds like I'm just repeating myself. Two, two, two. But look how they're spelled. They're different. So each one of these has a different meaning, like 2-0 or 2-0. T-O, that is a preposition or a part of an infinitive. So here's your example, to town. That's a preposition. Like my mom went to town. And then to hide, hide is a verb, right? That's an action. But when I use the word to next to it, it changes it to an infinitive. So to hide is an infinitive. That's what that's called. But see how they're both spelled with T-O. And then we have TWO. Sounds the same, two, but it's a number. Two mice, 1, 2. And then TOO is an adverb, and that means also or to an excessive degree. Here's your examples. Had it too. So I might say my brother had a cold and I had it too, meaning I had it also. Or too long. The drive to the mountains was too long. It took too long to get there. So that means that it's an excessive degree. It's like really long, right? So TOO. So they're going to make mistakes in this book on purpose for you. Yay, just for you. So you got to figure out which ones are incorrect and draw a line through it and put the correct word above it. Here's how it's going to look. The two mice lived too far from each other to meet. They did not travel to town together. All right, so look at that first sentence. They put the wrong two here. It should be two, the number two, the two mice lived too far. It means like to an excessive degree. It's like really far, right? TOO, from each other to meet. To meet is actually an infinitive. TO, meet. They did not travel to town together. There's your prepositional phrase, to town, TO. So watch out for those mistakes. You're going to fix those, okay? And then there's a couple comma rules. And basically, you're connecting words in a sentence. If you have two words that are connecting, like two nouns or two verbs, A and B, then you do not need a comma. If you have three nouns or three verbs or three adjective or three of anything, it's A, comma, B, comma, and C. That's when you need commas. So three or more. So look at this example down here. The cook saw Timmy and screamed. And they had a comma there, but you don't need it there. That's why that little squiggly line is there, because they removed it. And so we don't need a comma because we're just listing two verbs here. Saw and screamed. I have another student trying to log in, and I think let me double check my schedule here. I'm not sure why she's here. Oh, she's just early for the next class. Okay. Lacey, can you hear me okay? Are you there?
I can hear you. My computer crashed.
Oh, no. Okay. Well, you just leave your camera off. It's probably going to work better that way. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm glad you can hear me, and I can hear you too. So we're going to go to the practice page next. We're on page 33. I'm recording it, Lacey. If you want to watch that first part later, you can do that.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. And does anybody feel like reading this page? Camila, can you read it for us? Thank you.
Inside the large house, Sarah the maid noisily raced up the stairs and down the stairs too.
Okay, good. So yeah, I noticed you stopped on that word too. You're like, wait, to where? They've got the wrong to there, huh? Do you know how that should be spelled at the end? No? If you think of like also, she ran up the stairs and down the stairs too, meaning also. How would you spell it?
TOO.
There you go. Let's fix it because that's bugging me. Just draw one line through that and put TOO on top of it. And our vocabulary word is noisily. That's pretty easy to define because you see the word noisy in there. So just with a lot of noise, she's probably stomping up and down the stairs, making a lot of noise. Maybe she's screaming too, who knows? But she's racing. She's hurrying for some reason. All right, let's check the vocabulary and then there's 4 articles, so go ahead and find those by yourself. And then we've got 5 nouns. So William, where are the 5 nouns?
House,
Good,
Sarah,
good.
maid,
Yes,
stairs and stairs.
stairs and stairs. Good. Awesome. There's only one adjective. Lacey, do you know where that adjective is? It's going to describe one of the nouns.
Large house.
Good. Yes. Large house. Excellent. And since that was so quick, Lacey, I'm going to have you do the next one too. Where is the coordinating conjunction? Remember that one?
Before the first stairs. And,
Before, you mean after the first word stairs here?
oh yeah.
And, yep. Remember fanboys, and A is and. You're right about that. Good job. I'm going to skip the prepositional phrases. We'll come back to that. So, Camila, what about the verbs? Let's look for those. I'll tell you how many there are. Oh, there's only one. One verb. You see it there? It's an action. What is the maid doing? Yes, raced. Very good. And then, Camila, what is the subject? Like who raced?
Sarah.
Sarah. Good. I'm glad you didn't say the maid because it is the maid, but before that, it actually tells us her name. So that's the subject. You were right about that. So Sarah raced. Now the prepositional phrases, or there's 3 of them. William, do you see where they're at?
Up the stairs, down the stairs,
Okay, good,
inside the large house.
good. Very good. It stops on a noun, so that's right. Inside the large house, up the stairs, down the stairs. It's pretty easy to find after you label everything. The only thing that doesn't have a label is noisily, but we know that that's an adverb because it has ly. So eventually you're going to start marking those too. 3 capitals. Go ahead and do those. I know you guys know how to do those by yourself. What am I missing? There's 3 capitals inside the large house. Oh, 2 capitals. I thought it said 3. I was like, where's the third one? And the end mark is just going to be a period this time again. And the homophone we already fixed, which was 2. Done. Any questions about that page? No? No questions? Good. Okay. Your homework will be the next 3 pages like we normally do. Good job with that. Don't forget on your homework, I always post the answers. I don't want you to look at the answers before you do the page, obviously. I want you to do your page by yourself. But I do want your parent or somebody to check your grammar for you. So make sure before you turn it into me on Google Classroom that somebody grades it for you. Somebody checks it for you and puts little marks on it so I can see that it's been graded. They can put a star or a check or something to show me that they looked at it. Don't forget to do that. All right, let's get out your binders. You wrote about, what did you guys write about? Let me see. Oh, the Emperor and the Soup. Did you guys like that story? That was pretty good, huh? Does anybody feel like reading their story? William, you crack me up. I didn't even finish asking the question. He's over there like, no. You are so funny. One of these days, and I see Camila too, she's hiding from me. Okay, fine. You don't have to. Eventually, I'm going to make you guys do it though, but you don't have to because there will be a story. You're going to be like, this is the one. This is the one I want to read. Lacey, do you feel like reading yours or no?
I didn't do last week's.
You did last week's?
I couldn't because I was in Colorado.
Oh, right. Okay, that's okay. So maybe next week, if you want to read it, you can, whenever you get it done. That's fine.
Okay.
No problem. So, but we're done with, you'll keep yours in your front pocket, Lacey, since you're still working on yours. But if you guys are done, Camila and William, we're gonna put away, wait, before we do that, I'm looking at my notes here. Let's see. I need you to get out the blue page from your stuff from your front pocket. That blue page, we're adding another banned word. Yay! You guys love banned words, right? Yeah, the thing is, you probably don't use these words anymore anyway because you had these last year. So you should have on here say, said, seesaw, go, went. Is that what you guys have on yours? Okay, good. We're adding one more today on the end here, and it's think and thought. Think, thought. Yep, it's back. Hi, Olivia. Think, thought. So no, we can't use those words anymore in our writing. So what can we say instead of think, thought? You guys have any ideas?
Assumed. Believed.
Ooh, assumed. I heard believed. Both of those are really good. I like those. What else? Maybe wondered, pondered. When you ponder something, you think about it. Dreamed. Remember, these things happen inside, right? Inside our brains. Imagined is one. I'll help you guys with these. These are kind of hard to come up with. Imagined, remembered. Let me know if you guys think of any others too. Realized. I'm gonna do one more and knew, like Knew. Like I knew that. I knew that. Those are good. And there's a lot more, but I'm going to stop there. So now from now on, you can't use think thought. So you're going to use this page to help you come up with a different word. Remember, these are also your strong verbs. So you can use these words in the list below as a strong verb on your checklist and underline it for a dress up. Okay, so this blue page goes in your binder behind banned words. There's a tab toward the back that's called banned words. Way back here, this one, banned words. I want you to put that blue page behind that tab that says banned words. Careful with your rings, okay? Make sure you close them once you stick that in there. Okay, after you put that page away, I think that was the only other page. So then the rest of that stuff, hold on, let me check something here. Yeah. The rest of the emperor and the soup can go in your finished compositions, whatever folder or binder you have this year that is separate from your writing binder. Because last year it got too full and then stuff was like falling out. So we want to put it in a separate spot. So all this stuff with the emperor and the soup, the checklist, the lesson plan page, all that stuff, your keyword outline, everything goes in your finished folder or binder. And then you're going to get out week 6. That's going to be right after source text tab at the beginning. Week 6, it's called The City Mouse and the Country Mouse. So get all of week 6 out. I think it's just 4 pages. So get all 4 pages out. And a lined piece of paper. So make sure you get a lined piece of paper out. And then when you're all set, give me a thumbs up so I know you're ready. I see that, William. Good. So we're getting out week 6, the city mouse and the country mouse. And then we need a lined piece of paper. Don't forget to close up your rings. Oh, it's stapled. That's weird. Or is it stuck?
They're stuck.
Uh-oh, something sticky. That's weird. I think you could just probably pull it apart. Really weird. Lacey, did you get all your stuff out?
Yes, I got it.
Okay, good. All right, so it looks like everybody's got their stuff out. We're going to look at that pink page first. So go to that pink page. I love these. They help me a lot. This is your handy dandy list of LY adverbs. Remember, we had this last year too. It's really nice to have it. I like to tape it up on the wall near where I do my work. That's what I like to do. You could put it in a little, like, those sheet protectors that are clear. You can slide it in there and then tape it on the wall. Or you can keep it in your binder either way, but this is a great list to have handy so that when you get to that part of your writing and you're looking for an ly adverb, you've got lots of choices here. Also, at the bottom of this page, remember those imposters? We talked about these last year. These are words that end in ly, but they are not adverbs. These are adjectives, okay? And so don't let that fool you. These words like chilly, friendly, ghastly, ghostly, holy, kingly, knightly, lonely, lovely, orderly, prickly, queenly, surely, ugly, worldly, wrinkly. Those are all describing words. Those are all adjectives. So remember that adverbs, they modify a verb or they add to a verb. So these are telling how something is doing whatever it's doing. So those are the difference. Now, there's also a bunch of blank lines here. You get to fill in the ones that you like too, that you come across in your books or other things that you read, maybe even like your history book. You might be reading your history book or your science book, and all of a sudden you come across an ly adverb and you're like, hey, that's a good one. I like it. Write it down. Okay. And keep a list of them. All right. Next, let's get your story sequence chart ready for the story. So let's get out your lined paper next. And go ahead and put your name and date up here in the upper left side. 10/9/24. And our story the title is pretty long, so I'm going to start over here on the end. I'm going to skip a line, and it's called The City Mouse. Notice and the are not capitalized. Country Mouse. While you're writing that, I'm just going to remind you about capitalizing titles. It's different than capitalizing sentences. You always capitalize the first word in the sentence. That part is true about a title. The first word of a title, no matter what it is, even if it's a or the or any word, it doesn't matter what it is. The very first word is always capitalized. And then beyond that, it's usually the keywords. So and the are not keywords. So we're not going to capitalize those. The city mouse and the country mouse. Let's put SSC under that. And we know that story sequence chart. And skip a line, and then we're going to set this up. So a little bit to the left of your page, kind of in the middle, but a little bit more to the left side. Draw your line. And it's going to be an easy one. We're just going to do Roman numeral 1 and then 1, 2, 3. Skip a line, Roman numeral 2, 1, 2, 3. You guys know this. I'll give you time to fill it in. 3, 1, 2, 3. Try to keep your numbers nice and straight. Keep it nice and neat, because then it's easier to read. They're just going to have 3 underneath each Roman numeral. And then remember how we drew the line across, like right on top of the Roman numeral, just trace that line across all the way to the edge of your paper. Trace that line all the way over to the edge on top of each Roman numeral. And then wherever your bottom line is, you might have extra spaces at the bottom, but that's okay. Now you have your chart. You guys are getting good at this. William, what do we talk about first when we write a story? What goes in that first box here? Do you remember what we introduced first? Uh-oh, I couldn't hear you. I heard you that time. Characters and what else? And setting. Good. And do you remember what questions we ask for that box? We ask who for the characters, right? Who? And then where? For whatever reason, I can't hear you, but I saw your mouth. I think your microphone is not working. Who, where, and when. Who is going to tell us the characters, right? Those are usually people or animals or creatures, who knows? And then where and when, those are for the setting. Where does the story take place? When does the story take place? And then Camila, what do we talk about in the middle of the story? What goes in this box? Do you remember from last time? After we introduce the characters and the setting, then what? Remember how I told you guys every good story has a
Problem.
You're right. That's right, William. Camila was trying to remember problem, right?
Mute.
Oh, I couldn't hear you. What was the other word? So problem is one of the words. What word goes first, though? Do you remember? Starts with a C. Con.
Flicked.
There you go. Flicked. Conflict slash problem. Because sometimes, a conflict is when you have two characters that are fighting or arguing or something like that. A problem could be that a character gets lost or gets sick or gets hurt, something like that. So this is when we ask the question, what? Like, what is happening to the character and what do they need and what do they want and what are they thinking and what are they saying? All of those things we answer in the middle of our story. And then Lacey, what goes here at the end? What comes after conflict problem? Remember? Uh-oh. Are you there, Lacey?
Solution.
Oh, there you go. Yes, resolution. There was another word that started with a C. Do you remember this one?
Climax.
There you go. Good job. Climax slash resolution. And that is the question, how? How is the problem solved? Resolution. How does it resolved? In that word resolution, I see the beginning of resolve there. I also see solution in that word. So either way, that's telling us how the problem is solved. All right, so we got characters and setting in the beginning, always introducing them first. Then you move into the problem, and then you move into how they solve the problem. And it could be quick, It could be a long book like Harry Potter, right? That, by the way, those long, long books like that, a lot of times there's multiple problems that come in, right? And multiple characters that come in. So this kind of moves around when you have a big novel like that. But when you're writing a short story, this is really the pattern here. Okay, let's look at the story next. You guys have any questions about any of this so far? No? Okay, good. We're going to read The City Mouse and the Country Mouse. This is a story, you might have heard this story before. It's kind of a popular one, but there's different versions to the story. Meaning like there's different styles of this story. This is just one style. Okay, what happens here? All right, I'm going to read it. You guys be thinking about characters and setting, conflict and problem, climax and resolution. You be thinking of those things as we go here. A city mouse once visited a cousin who lived in the country. For lunch, the country mouse served wheat stalks, roots, and acorns with a dash of cold water for drink. The city mouse nibbled a little of this and a little of that by her manner, making it very plain that she ate the simple food only to be polite. That's another way of saying she didn't like it. She was just eating it to be polite, but she didn't really like it. Have you guys ever had to do that before when you're at somebody's house and you're like, I don't really like the dinner, but I know my mom was going to want me to eat it, so I'm just going to take like little tiny bites and then just try to pretend like I like it. It's happened to me before. Okay, anyway. After the meal, the city mouse chatted about her life in the city with its luxuries and delicacies, means like fancy foods, right? They then went to bed in a cozy nest in the hedge, which is like a bush, and slept comfortably until morning. In her dreams, the country mouse enjoyed all the delights of city life that her cousin had described. So the next day, when the city mouse asked the country mouse to go home with her to the city, she gladly agreed and packed her things. After they reached the mansion, okay, so they're in the city now and they're in a mansion in which the city mouse lived, they found on the dining room table the leavings of a fine banquet. There were meats and jellies, pastries, and delicious cheeses. But just as the country mouse was about to taste a morsel of cheddar, a cat meowed loudly. Uh-oh. In great fear, the two mice scurried to a hiding place where they lay quite still for a long time, hardly daring to breathe. When at last they ventured back to the feast, the door opened suddenly, and in came the servants to clear the table, followed by the house dog. So you can imagine the mice are thinking they survived the cat, but I don't know about you guys, but our dogs, they kill mice. They will. We live in the country or in the mountains up here on a farm, so they have lots of little critters to catch and kill. So these mice were scared, right? Especially the country mouse. The country mouse stepped into the city mouse's hole to pick up her bag and umbrella. You might have luxuries and dainties that I have not, she said as she hurried away. But I prefer my plain food and simple country life with the peace and security that go with them. So there's a little lesson to learn here because, be happy with what you have and your home and your life. Because they were trying out each other's lives, right? And they didn't really like it. So they go back to their own lives where they're comfortable. Yeah, so that's a good story. Oops, let's see, let me get it. Okay. So, did you guys think about characters and setting and all that as I read that? Because there are a couple problems in here. Um, and the problems really came in later when they're at the city mouse's house because or the mansion because you've got the mice, I mean the cat and the dog. And those are considered predators for the mice. That's definitely a problem. Okay, back to your story sequence chart here. We're going to start working on this. So I'm going to have, since there's 3 sections here, I'm going to have William do the characters and setting part, this whole section here. Then I'm going to have Camila focus on the conflict and the problem. And then Lacey can focus on the climax and resolution. So we'll help each other. So don't worry. But I'll start with William, and we're just going to go through the way this story is written. It's written in order here. It follows the same format. So William, focus on that first paragraph. We got to introduce the characters first, right? So who are the 2 main characters here?
City mouse and a country mouse.
Yes. So I think we should put, there's 2 mice, so we can put the number 2, so we don't have to count that. Mice. And then I'm just going to put a little colon here and put city, comma, country. So that's telling us the 2 main characters, the 2 mice. And then, William, how do they know each other?
They are cousins.
They're cousins. So let's put that. They're cousins. And then the city mouse, she's visiting the country mouse, right? That's how it starts. The first part is the city mouse is visiting the country mouse house. So we can put okay, I have an idea here. Let's circle CI for city mouse and CO for country mouse because they both start with C. So if we circle the C, we're going to be confused, right? So that's why we need to have CI for city and CO for country. So the CI visited CO in the country. So they're cousins, and the city mouse visited the country mouse in the country. William, what did they eat there? It's at the beginning. What did they eat?
They
I missed that. Say that again.
they
I still didn't hear you.
food.
Acorns? What
Or
is
plant food.
it's right here. Wheat stalks.
We stock fruit and acorns.
There you go. So we can only have 3 words. What do you think we should pick for our 3 words of what they ate?
Acorn roots. Um, make wheat.
And wheat? Okay. And you can put them in whatever order. Acorns, roots, wheat. Or you could put stalks instead of wheat, either way. And then how about after you write that, how can we describe the city mouse, how she felt about it? Remember, she's eating this and she's trying to be polite. What can we put here for number 3 about how she felt about the food? Like, did she like it? What can we put there?
Um,
That last sentence in the first paragraph. So how could we put that?
um, Nipple.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Nibbled. Or manner.
Manner or plain is a good word. That word kind of helps us know that she doesn't like it because it's plain. It probably doesn't have any flavor to her. What if you said nibbled, plain? What's another word you can put?
Simple.
Okay. And she was polite. I kind of like that word too. Maybe nibbled, plain, and polite. She was being polite about it. Okay. Nibbled. But if you like that word simple, you can put it instead of plain, you could put simple. Or we could actually put politely, like she ate it politely. I think I'm going to put that. I'm going to put it ly because we need one for that paragraph anyway, right? It's a good spot for it. Okay, good, William. Once you finish writing that, Camila, I'm going to have you work on what is the conflict and problem that we're going to go into that next. So after they ate all that, they went to bed, right? And she had this dream. And then where did they go next, Camila, after that?
To the city.
Yeah. So the city mouse invited the country mouse to the city. So maybe we could say CI mouse invited CO to the city. City mouse invited the country mouse to the city. And then after that, Camila, what did they eat there in the city?
Um, Cheeses, meats, and jellies.
Okay, good. There's other words there if you want to pick some of those other words, but I like that. Cheeses, meats, jellies. So we're kind of leading into now. So the country mouse at first was like, wow, all this fancy food. This is crazy. I'm so excited. I want to eat this stuff. But then the problem comes in. What's the problem, Camila?
A cat.
Yes, let's definitely mention the cat next. And then what did the mice do when they saw the cat?
They quickly ran to a little hiding spot.
They ran to a hiding spot. I like the word scurried. I think that's what they used in the story.
Mhm.
It's a good word for mice. So I'm going to put scurried and then hide. And by the way, when you guys, you know this, but when you go to write these paragraphs, you can change the tense of the verb. Like instead of saying hide, you could say hid or hiding, a hiding spot. I like that idea to go find a hiding spot. So however you want to say that at that point. And then
Yeah.
they were like frozen, right? They were scared and they're basically not even breathing. Then they decided to come back out. And then what happened?
Some maids came in to clear out the table with, and they were followed by a big house dog.
A big house dog, yes. So we could say, in the story it says servants, but we could call them maids. That's okay too. So we could put the maids came to clean, and then I'm gonna put dog in all caps. That'll help me remember it's a big dog. Even though I don't know if it actually said it's a big dog, but I had the same idea in my head. It was probably not a Chihuahua dog. I'm thinking it was a big dog because they were scared too of the dog. Okay, Lacey, after you write that, you're gonna finish this off here. So, oh, before you say anything though, let's move down here. So we're at the point now where we're at a climax. In the margin, I just want you to draw this little picture because remember we talked about this last year. A really tall mountain with a big peak here. And then I want you to draw a little guy at the top of the mountain here. That's what I think of when I think of the climax of the story. It's the peak. And on one side, if he goes over here, I'm going to draw some spikes and a little dead face. If he goes on that side, that's not good. If he goes on this side, there's going to be a fluffy cloud here and a happy face. So it's basically either the character is going to live or die. The character is going to be okay or not okay. The character is going to win or not win. It's that point of the story that you don't know which way it's going to go. I'm just going to draw a couple arrows here showing that that's the climax. Is he going to go this way and die, or is he going to go this way and live? What's going to happen in the story? So we know because we already finished this story that the mice live, they don't die, but so far that we have a cat and a dog, and these are mice. So this is why this is the climax. We don't know what's gonna happen here. Okay, so then what happens next, Lacey, at that point? There's the dog. We're on the back, so page 56 back here.
Do you want me to read it or just tell you what I think?
Just tell me what you think.
Mm,
After she sees the dog, then what?
we can put um CL for country mouse.
Okay.
Put country in the mouse. Then CI and mouse. Well, I feel like we need to put bag and umbrella.
Bag and umbrella? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. That sounds good. Well, let's back up for a second, though. I know it's not written there, but did they get any food after the dog and the cat came in? Did they get any food?
No.
No, they did not. And so I think we should mention that actually first, leading into that, what you just said. So maybe we should put something like no food and scared, because they were really scared at that point. But then I like your idea, a CO. Do you want to use, did you say the word stepped, or do you want to use an arrow to basically this country mouse is going back into the city mouse's hole and then bag an umbrella?
Maybe we can put COCI and then we can put a hole in
Okay,
the umbrella.
I like it. Yep, I like that. Maybe a little arrow between here. So he's like, she went into her hole to get her bag and umbrella. By the way, and if everybody else has different ideas, put what you want to put. This is like your outline here. And then she explains after that. So Lacey, what should we put next? Like she's explaining why she's wanting to go.
We can put we can put we can point like have a little arrow pointing to CI
Okay.
The arrow CI, but luxuries, dainties, but she doesn't. So
Yeah.
you can put CO does not. Or,
Like a line through it, maybe?
yeah, and then we
Yeah.
have or something. So,
Yes. Oh, right. Okay, for our third word. So CI, we'll start with that. And then you said like an arrow, luxuries. Luxuries, you guys know what luxuries are? Luxuries is like fancy stuff, like more than just what you need. Like let's say you need shoes, okay? Well, you can go to Payless shoe store and get a pair of shoes, or you can go to a fancy mall and get like Air Jordans or, really fancy shoes like that. So luxuries, you can get a $20 pair of shoes or a $500 pair of shoes. So that $500 pair of shoes is going to be a luxury. Okay. There's a difference there. So it's basically like fancy things. Same with dainties. Dainties just means like fancy cheeses and meats and expensive things. Okay. So luxuries and dainties are expensive things. So they're in a mansion and with fancy stuff. And then I think you said maybe CO.
CO, cross it out,
Okay.
and then we can put have for the last one.
Okay. Does not have. Okay, got it. That's good.
Mhm.
And then the very last thing, she talks about she prefers her own life. So how can we put that last little bit there? I prefer my plain food and simple country life with the peace and security that go with them.
We can put CO prefers food, food simple.
Prefers food simple. Is that what you said?
Yeah. Wait.
I like that, but I also like peace and security, meaning like she's safe, she feels safer at home. So I want to make sure to include that too. Maybe we could say,
We can put prefers peace security.
yeah, I like that. Prefer, or you could put prefer simple. I like that though. Peace, security. Good. Very good. You guys did awesome on this. Okay, so here's what you're going to do this week for homework. You're going to write this story again, these 3 paragraphs using your story sequence chart. Let's look at your checklist really quick before you go. You will give it a new title. The title rule is on your checklist, so don't forget that. And then we have now 4 dress ups. It's going faster than last year. So we've got ly adverb, who which clause, strong verb, and because clause. That's the new one. So basically, you need to think of maybe why they're scared. They're scared because the cat, something about the cat, or the city mouse didn't really like the food because. So think of a time to explain why something is the way it is for the because clause. And you're going to underline one of each. You can have more than one of each, but you need to underline one of each. And then you've got your banned words listed here. So don't say said. It's going to be a little tricky. See, saw, go, went, think, thought, especially see, saw, because you're going to want to talk about how they saw the mouse. So you're going to need to say something like they spotted the mouse, or they witnessed, or they looked at the mouse, or something like that, something different than saw. So try really hard not to use those banned words. Any questions about the homework this week? No? Okay, good. Keep all this stuff in your front pocket. You've got your LY list. This is going to be nice. to help you with those. Put it all in your front pocket, and then I will see you next week. Good job, you guys. You all did great.
Bye.
Bye. See you next week.
See you next week.